Thanks for joining me as we review the book The Men We Need by Brant Hansen. While the media is filled with examples of what men should not be, it's not very clear what men should be or what masculinity looks like when men are at their very best. That's what Brant tries to do in this book. The question is, does he actually pull it off? In a word, in my opinion, yes, he does. This is a highly readable book. I would recommend it, especially for millennials and Gen Zs. It's written in an easy-to-read manner and an easy-to-apply manner. Warning, you will be challenged. Let's dig in. First, who is Brant Hansen? He has a background as a syndicated radio host and an author known for his humorous and honest style. And he has a commitment to real-world impact, both in his writing and through his work with Cure International, a global Christian nonprofit organization that owns and operates a network of 8 charitable hospitals in Africa and the Philippines. The link for them is in the description of this video. Brant Hansen lays out a compelling case for what true masculinity looks like, driven by purpose, humility, and strength. His approach revolves around 6 key decisions every man must make to live a life of integrity and meaning. These are decisions that can impact not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. Hansen's core message is authenticity, responsibility, and protective leadership as the heart of biblical masculinity. It's a sort of 12 rules for life for Christian men. Let's take a closer look at each of these 6 points. Decision 1, forsake the fake and relish the real. This is where this book shines. Forsaking the fake and relishing the real encourages men to disengage from superficial digital escapes and focus on genuine, tangible relationships. Think about how our culture often glorifies fake accomplishments and why real-world engagement matters. When you hear the term real men, what images come to mind? Lust is the craving for salt of a man dying of thirst. Decision 2, protect the vulnerable. This calls men to become guardians of those around them, not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. Hansen argues that every man must choose to be a protector, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. Protecting means to create an environment where others feel safe and heard and valued. Think how this decision challenges both ends of the aggression spectrum, with passivity on one side and rage on the other, urging a balanced, caring strength. Hansen says this is a huge shift from the way that many of us grew up thinking about masculinity. He says being a man isn't about conquering or controlling. It's about caring and serving. And here's where I would disagree with him. It's not an either-or proposition. It's not either caring or conquering. It's not either serving or controlling. Authority and domination need not be negative. Authority comes from the word author. You are writing the script of life. Authorship. If you're a husband and a father, you're writing the rules for the family in concert with your wife. You are writing what these are. And these are to be the rules, the boundaries in which you live. Same thing with domination. It's related to the word dominion. Now, these are not words like authoritarianism. Those we should avoid. An authoritarian is characterized by favoring absolute obedience to authority against individual freedom. So there is a role for authority and dominion with limits. It's conquering darkness as an act for caring for those that we love. It's controlling the boundaries of an environment in service to others. Now, do you agree that there are some things that will happen if only you actively do something? That's what this point is all about. Being active in a role, not just passive, not just saying, God will take care of this if I don't do it. Maybe not. Maybe if you don't stop and help that person, no one else will. Your presence should make your community safer. Decision 3, be ambitious about the right things. This calls for a redefinition of ambition that prioritizes meaningful causes over superficial successes. Think of finally reaching that goal of a video game. Shut off that computer or game console, and that achievement has no meaning. How has our generation elevated things that don't matter over things that do? Don't be afraid of commitments that matter. Be afraid of not making those commitments. And as for regrets, are there things you wish you could go back and change because you were ambitious about the wrong things? People who are actively serving others don't really struggle with feelings of meaningless. Decision 4. Make women and children feel safe, not threatened. This challenges men to redefine strength in ways that foster security and trust, especially in family settings. How can vulnerability and gentleness be markers of true strength rather than signs of weakness? Think about 1 Corinthians 1:25. For the foolishness of God is weaker than man's wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than man's strength. A real man's strength is measured by the safety he creates for those around him. Decision 5. Choose today who you will become tomorrow. This highlights the choices made today shape our future in character and destiny. In this section, Hansen asks, how do small intentional decisions accumulate into the person one becomes, and why mindfulness matters? Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, for that becomes your destiny. Here he quotes C.S. Lewis, who says, hell begins with a grumbling mood, always complaining, always blaming others, but you're still distinct from it. You may even criticize it in yourself and wish you could stop it, but there may come a day when you no longer can. Then there will be no you left to criticize the mood or even enjoy it, but just the grumble itself, going on forever like a machine. It is not a question of God sending us to hell. In each of us, there is something growing, which will be hell unless it is nipped in the bud. Decision 6. Take responsibility for your own spiritual life. This is the bucko make your bed rule. This focuses on the need for personal accountability in one's spiritual journey, emphasizing daily commitment and self-reflection. For you, how has active faith, not passive routine, led you to genuine spiritual growth? Here and throughout the book, Hansen addresses addiction to video games and pornography, so prevalent in men today. He says, sometimes you might feel God around, sometimes you won't, but that's never the point. Loyalty is the point. Do you need to feel God's presence to be loyal to Him? Loyalty means not letting your sinfulness keep us from God. When we live in a society that accuses us for being toxic, it's time to show them that godly masculinity is an antidote. If you think this applies to you, go pick up the book for yourself and maybe give it to someone you love. It's a quick read, and oh yeah, it also comes in audiobook. Please comment below on which decision resonated with you the most and why. I'd love to read your response. Also, subscribe and share this video if you thought it was worthwhile.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.